Hi, welcome to Mood Food with Melissa. I'm Melissa and I'm so excited to be sharing one of my favorite recipes with you. Today we're going to be making my blackberry date sauce that can be used as a delightful complement to so many sweet and savory dishes. As with most of my sauce recipes, we're just going to let the blender do most of the work for us. So we'll start with 1/2 pint of organic blackberries. And of course you don't have to use organic, but I really like to go for organic on things that have thin skins, or especially things like blackberries that have all these little crevices where pesticides can hide. So I think it's worth going organic with these types of things, even if you're not going to go organic overall. But of course you can use whatever is available as long as they're blackberries, it'll work. So we're going to go ahead and just get those poured in. And then we're also going to add about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which is going to give us a nice little acidic kick to this. We're also going to add about 2 to 4 dates, and dates obviously come in different sizes, which is why we're going to say 2 to 4. And of course it's a matter of taste too. But if they're about this big, I would say go with 2 dates. If they're more in the range of these guys, I would say maybe 4 or 3. You can always add things, but you can't take them out once they're in there. So I would say start small and add as you go. So we'll start, and definitely make sure you're using a pitted date for this. I've made that mistake before where I thought I had a pitted date and it was not pitted, and I did not find that out until they were crashing around and ruining my sauce. So make sure you have a pitted date and just get those popped in there. So we're going to do, why don't we do 1 big one and we'll do 2 of these little guys, and I think that should get us where we need to be. So we'll pop those in, and then we're going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon of thyme, which isn't a lot, but that's okay because we're just looking for nice subtle flavors here. We want this to be a sweet sauce, but we want it to also have some nice little herby spice notes. So we're adding in just a little bit of fresh ground thyme. And we're going to also add a 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. And I love cardamom because it has just a very light floral note to it. I think that it is a nice way to complement fruits, and especially if you have acid in the mix. It just puts a beautiful kind of middle note in there that blends everything together, and it complements the thyme, which is also kind of a little bit of a citrusy note itself. So we have everything in here. Oh, and we forgot our salt. So even though this is a sweet sauce, we're still going to use just a little bit of that beautiful Duxbury salt that I love, so that it will just help to bloom out all of the other flavors. And we don't need to add any liquid to this because the blackberries themselves, once they start bursting in the blender, will provide the liquid that we need. So we're just gonna give this a quick whirl in the blender and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So we have this off of the blender and we're just gonna give it a little taste test to see if it's where we need it to be flavor-wise. I think it needs a little more acid, tiny bit more salt. So we're going to go ahead and just add a teensy bit more lemon juice in here. And we're going to give a pretty generous pinch of salt. Right now the flavors are reading very sweet. I'm getting those floral notes that I wanted from the cardamom, and I'm getting that nice herbal note from the thyme, but it's getting kind of covered by the sweetness of the dates and the blackberries. So adding this little bit of acid and a little bit more salt is going to help kind of bring everything up a little bit and brighten the dish. So we're gonna put this back on the blender and we're gonna give it another taste. All right, so we've given it another little whirl with our added ingredients, and I think it should be where we want it to be now. Perfect. We're getting really beautiful sweet notes. There's just a tiny bit of sourness at the end, which balances everything really nicely. And then you get that lingering floral kind of herbal taste from the cardamom and the thyme. So this is exactly where we want to be flavor-wise, but you'll notice when you make this, it's going to be full of seeds that will just absolutely never blend down. So I'll show you how to get those out of there. So to remove the seeds, all we'll need is a bowl, a fine mesh sieve, and a whisk. Or you can use a spoon, a fork, or anything else you have that will just kind of force the mixture through the mesh. That's all you need to worry about. So we're just going to go ahead and pour the mixture into our sieve here. And just give it a nice little shake to get the rest out. And then once we have our sauce in there, we're just gonna start gently whisking or swirling, so you can use a spoon, fork, anything as I mentioned. And what this is going to do is it's going to force the liquid through the mesh, and it's going to separate out the seeds for us as it does so. Right, so I think we're getting pretty close to just seeds in here. you'll see that it's very difficult to get all of the liquid separated out. So you're going to have some sauce left in with the seeds, but that's okay. You just want to get it so it looks kind of pasty, dry, to the point that it's mostly seeds. And then we'll just go ahead and set this off to the side. And now we have this beautiful sauce. You can see it has a nice like gel consistency. We didn't have to add anything to it to get that. It's just all of our natural ingredients working together. My favorite way to serve this is with my duck breast dinner recipe that I will be showing you how to make in an upcoming episode, but you can also use this in a variety of sweet and savory ways. So I hope that you'll love making this sauce at home, and tune in to my easy duck breast dinner episode where I'll be incorporating this recipe into a phenomenal duck dinner that will be sure to impress your guests next time you entertain. You can find this recipe and more at moodfoodwithmelissa.com.